go over back and forth over the horse.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, I can do that. I had a horse that I roped off of. And you know, the first thing that horse does when you start getting on the saddle is stop. I didn't think about that. And here I was going down that horse as fast as it would go, and I come off, hit the ground, and that horse stopped. And I just went, boom, 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 down the road.
Oh,
A
God.
great niece.
You know what? I never jumped off of a roping horse again unless I wanted it to stop.
Yeah. I have a great niece that's a barrel racer. She was doing real good. Till the horse, she was at San Antonio, getting ready for San Antonio Bodie, and the horse kicked her. I mean, it broke her. She couldn't ride for about a year and a half. She broke her hip. I don't know what all, but she was on crutches. She couldn't go to school for most of the rest of that year.
And she's riding the rodeo circuit again.
She's riding again, so she done well.
My daddy had two horses, mostly used them for pulling implements in the wagon or whatever. And he would tell us, my brother and I, go get the horses. And we'd go get some ears of corn and go down the pasture and find the horses and coax them to, we could put the halter on them and bring them in. And we decided, well, we're gonna ride this horse. And you know, why walk? We can ride, you know. And so we were going the first tree that that horse saw. He went under that tree and knocked us off. And there we are now. We have to chase the stupid horses again. You know. And Daddy would say, "What took y'all so long?"
Well, you know, I was just barely a teenager, I guess. Dorothy and Lewis were dating. And Pop had a young horse there that he had no use for, and I had been riding it, no bridle, no saddle, no nothing. So I decided that when Pop sold it, Lewis wanted to buy it, so he bought it, and he started riding it with a saddle. And one day I left the house and I walked to the highway and went Cow Creek, and went down to Cow Creek, and get down to about where the Hodges and the Liskas lived, and right in there I run into that horse. And he recognized me and he comes over to me and we had the finest reunion I ever saw. And I crawled on his back, and he wasn't used to riding anybody without a saddle anymore, and he bit my butt off real quick.
What a traitor.
So I got even with him. The next Sunday I asked Lewis if I could take the horse out for a ride and train him for hunting. So I took my rifle and rode him a while till I thought he was just a little bit tired. And I fired the rifle and I rode him some more. When he settled down again, I fired the rifle again. You know, by the time the evening was over, he was used to it. He would just stand there.
Got him used to the noise.
But the horse that I normally hunted off of, when that gun came up, that horse would duck his head down across the ground and never move a muscle. I don't think he would breathe.
Stop praying.
Yeah, I could hunt off that horse. Yeah. But,
Can I get y'all some?
you know,
I'm fine.
tea,
We need
water,
to get on
ice?
home.
no. But, you know, we used to go out and go riding and go hunting, and we might cross 6 or 8 people's
Nelson?
property.
Did you get him to sleep?
And we'd carry
So quiet, I mean, he was asleep.
We'd carry staples and a hammer, and stuff like that. And when we came to a fence, one cross, we'd take the fence down off maybe 8 or 10 posts, and we would stretch the wire, let the wire down far enough, the horses
You know,
step across.
baking.
When we put the
Been
fence
baking.
back, probably better than it was before. And nobody ever complained about us riding horses across their property or anything. They
So
just,
you entertain a lot.
you know, you just always had to be careful that you did what you're supposed to do, take
Yeah.
care of the
My
stuff.
grandma, messing with
So,
Like,
Yeah, there was never a time that you went over there that you didn't get fed 2 or 3 times.
people. Oh, I go
At
for
your
a week at
mom's.
a time and we don't have a
and then
home
she,
meal.
and you know what she always said? I don't understand it, everybody comes here hungry all the
You tell her, no, we're not hungry.
Who said
Hell, the
that?
next
You
thing you
have to
know,
eat.
you better eat.
If you didn't eat,
Then you would insult them, you
oh,
know.
you insult them.
Oh, God.
You didn't take enough of my food, they wouldn't even take a bite. And then if you ate 2 pieces of it, cause it's good, right? Dang, they came here hungry.
Don't they feed them at home?
That's right.
Huh?
You might as well not feed them because when we get big, we use, our meal time and their meal time was different. We go, they should always fill us up and then fill the kids up and then get home, they wouldn't eat.
Uncle Alvin, I wanted to ask you a question. You talked about Grandpa Malik's mother dying when he was real small. Can you tell me more about his father?
Well, his father was, he was immigrant from Czechoslovakia. And,
So Grandpa was first generation here.
yeah. Now, Grandpa's oldest sister's brother were born in Czechoslovakia. And, anyhow, they lived in Lavaca County first, and then after Grandma died, they say he was very restless. And after a while, he had an uncle that lived in Cards County. His mother was a Lenhart.
I've heard that name.
And Uncle John Lenhart lived in that Hobson area, and he liked Uncle John. So he moved up to Hobson and was sharecropping there, and when Pop was 13, he died. 12, 13, he
So
died.
he was very young and he was
Yeah.
lost both of his
And
parents.
then after that, the older kids kind of took care of the younger kids, and the minute he was old enough to do a little work out, Pop said that whoever had work and food, that's where he lived. And Pop told a story about the time he went to work for a foundry. And they told him to clean out this pipe with the mold that was inside of a pipe. And he said, dang, that stuff was hard. I sat there and picked on that thing for half a day and didn't have nothing done. And the guy said, hey, let me show you something. He picked up that pipe, stood it on the end and hung it up a little, hit it with a hammer about twice and everything fell out. And then he went to work
That's
for
what we
the,
have teachers, isn't it?
went to work for the railroad.
You're talking about your grandpa?
Well, Grandpa, he's talking
My
about Grandpa.
dad.
Oh,
He
Can
went
you
to work
imagine
for the
raising a bunch
railroad
of
when he
kids
was
back
just,
then,
he was a
when
teenager.
there was no programs and no trying to help you?
Yeah. And, he said one day he woke up and he was sick and they told him to stay there today until he got to feeling better, and they'd pick him up tomorrow and he'd go to work. And he got to feeling good and he saw a hill off in the distance. I don't know just where they were at, they were somewhere out west. So that flat country, then there was some hills. So he said, I'll start that hill just a little ways down there. And I started walking, and I walked, and I walked,
Still on
and I
camera?
walked. That damn hill
Still
just
on
kept
camera?
moving away. It was, I never did get closer to it. He says, I finally turned around and came back, went back to the place.
probably a ton of stories that needs to be told. What do you want to do?
I don't want any.
I got a little water, I'm good.
I think I read that recipe in the paper.
Yeah.
It sounded good, but
Gooey.
Oh,
Well, you said you want some water?
I'll take more water.
With ice?
A little bit of ice.
yes, that's what I was thinking.
Now, Grandma Malik was near as popular as Grandpa, and she was always jealous of him.
Well,
He
she
was,
used to do a lot of, I don't want to say that she was a busybody, but she liked to express herself. She'd get on a subject and she was very interesting to listen to. And Grandpa would just sit there and then, you know, he would say this piece and whatever, but she had the floor.
well,
Is that kind of sounding like her?
yeah, yeah, she wanted to be the center of attention.
But she was so interesting to listen to. Didn't mind it, you know, at all.
Well, I got tickled. She gave Pop a lot of trouble.
Oh, he asked for it, what did you say?
No,
He was an angel. That's what
She abused him.
and she would, I told her, Pop, I said, why do you put up with this? They're always raising hell with you like this. He says, oh, it ain't so bad. He says, she's this way when there's somebody around. She wants to express how she's the boss. But he says, the minute everybody leaves, I straightened that out pretty good. And he said, I told him I didn't believe it. And one time I came to the house and she was just raising really hell. She was bad about something. And I was on the porch, so I back off. Because I usually open the screen door, went over the porch, just called at them because they couldn't hardly hear. And I back out, and I heard Pop say, Mom, woman, I've heard all of this I'm gonna take. Quiet as a mouse. And he never argued with her, he just let her go on when he got enough of it. So, I asked him one day, I said, Pop, how did you get her to listen like that? He says, well, one day she made me real mad. And I told her, I says, woman, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna go out to the barn and get that big rope I got out there, soak it in the water trough, and I'm coming back and beat the hell out of it. And he said, she didn't shut up. When I got there with the rope, she was quiet.
Are you making that up?
No. No, I'm not making that up.
And just imagining Grandpa Malik saying
Yeah,
that
oh my gosh.
makes it so much funnier because
He was such a.
he was so gentle, you know,
Okay.
just really.
I guess that's why he's
Yeah,
a good boy about it.
But Grandma was always writing letters to Congress,
Oh, yeah.
setting them straight.
She was gonna get me out of the service. And she got to the point where there was a hearing. I got called in for a hearing. Their disability and discharge. To go there, and I said, she had it again. When they told me what it was, that was the old for heart discharge. I said, no, not again. I said, what do you mean not again? I said, I don't wanna go home. Ain't no way. They're doing just fine, but Mom can't stand the fact that she's not getting away about something.
were in the service and she was trying to get you out.
I volunteered,
Wow.
When was that, Cloud?
1951.
51.
Yes.
So did you go to Korea?
Did you go to Korea?
No, I was one of the lucky ones. I had one of the craziest enlistments you ever saw. When we went in, they sent 4 of us, raw recruits, to a trained unit that was getting ready to ship out for the East Coast Defense. And, you know, we were supposed to go to training unit. So, we got there and they didn't know what the hell to do with us. Well, we just raw recruits. The colonel called us in one day and said, explained the situation to us and said, look, the sergeant we've got here
Your brother gonna
is
be
an
in daycare?
ex-training
Did you
instructor.
go to daycare, Mama keeps?
He said he could put 4 of you through basic in 2 weeks compared to what takes 3 or 4 months when you got 50 or 100 men. He said, you have a choice. You can either take that and stay with this unit, or you can go, I'll get you transferred back to a basic training unit. Let me tell you what, we all stayed with that unit and took basic out there in that desert in El Paso. With that sergeant.
Sure.
He ran us through it. We went through everything that they went through in 3 months of basic training. In 2 weeks.
Yeah, because he didn't have 200 guys that had to do all the same stuff.
Well, we run a fire range, 4 of us go on the fire instead of,
Yeah.
there was, I think, about 25 or 30 lineups.
It took us a week to go through.
So, instead of 25 or 30 times, there's 4 of us. Didn't take nothing.
So then after you got through with your little mini basics, then what did you do?
Well, it was crazy. One day, I was in the headquarters building and I was supposed to meet with the colonel and talk about something. I don't remember what it was. But anyhow, our first sergeant was there. He was trying to put some hinges on a gun chassis so that the screws didn't show. And he had no idea how to do it. I finally got tired of watching him. I said, Sergeant, if you don't mind, I know how to do that. My dad was a carpenter and I used to help him. So in a few minutes, I went ahead and had those hinges on there, and he showed the colonel, hey, hello, and
How do you do
told
that?
him that I did it. The colonel says, come to my office.
It's a mess.
He said, you know, we got these barracks, 4-man barracks we had down. We're supposed to rebuild them and prepare what's necessary before we leave. Would you do that? I said, gladly. Better to cave me and all that other stuff. So I did that. I went and got to Fort Meade, Maryland. They put us in a barracks where they'd been vacant for a long time. So I got assigned as a driver to the motor pool, and I never saw my truck for 3 months because I was rebuilding that building. And you know how the military is, you were in, weren't you? You wanted something, you had to go through ordinance and get a requisition and all this crud. And after I got through fixing up the men's room, our company officer, company clerk, the first sergeant was all in one great big room. He told me one day, he said, you know, I really should have a private office, so when I have to talk to somebody, not everybody in this world hears it, he said, could you build it? I said, no problem at all. Just start giving me some requisitions, and I happen to know that down at Hardlands, only 1 man is on at noon. So I'm gonna always be there with a truck at noon. I'd sit there and wait for a while, and after we got real friendly one day, and I needed a bunch of 2x4s and some sheet rock and all kinds of stuff. And one day, there was 3 or 4 of the guys there needing stuff. And I told this guy in charge, I said, you know, I've been here enough, I know where everything's at, and I've got this requisition. Is it all right if I go fill it? Well, you know what, I had everything I needed for the private office. And I handed the requisition and drove out of that place and hoped he didn't look at it. And I filled that, I fixed that private office, and I was promoted to corporal, and I've never seen my job. So then, one day my orders came down, and they had given me the MOS for aircraft warning specialists.
Aircraft warning specialist?
Yeah, to run with these great big radar units that coordinated the airstrikes, the infantry, and the artillery. I'd seen the outside of them because we had them in our unit, but I'd never been inside of one. And one day orders came down, they needed somebody in Korea to run one of these units. My MOS came up, and I've been promoted twice for it. And the captain called me and said, we'll have to ship you out. And I said, I've got to go AWOL. He said, what do you mean, you gotta go AWOL? I said, you think about it. I go to Korea as a trained specialist and get into one of those units, and I've got to ask something up private there. How do you run this thing? How many people are we going to kill? He says, I see the front of you. He says, so he was the base commander. And the next day, I was packing up, I had ordered at 3 days ago to go to NCO school in preparation to officers training school. So I went to NCO school instead of going AWOL.
Instead of going AWOL.
Yes, sounds like a good idea.
There was no way I was gonna go. I told him, I'll go on that plane, but you changed my number to something else.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you're not afraid to go? I said, no. No, I thought. So he got me into that. The next thing I knew, I was an El Paso and officer too. And I wanted to be an officer in the military about as much as I wanted a 3rd year. So I stayed there for a while. I looked like changed MOS. They were being shipped to Europe. We went to MOS. I went AWOL.
Yeah, I told you so.
You went off
I'd have broke it.
Tell his brother had orders to go to Korea. They were having a farewell party for him. So I chose him down to Karnes County and missed the command performance. And in the meantime, my car broke down. So I stopped at some little shop and got one of his work orders showing that my car was broke down and it was with 175 miles in the bank. And I get back late. And the guy that charged me says, I know you're lying. And he says, I'm gonna make you pay for it. So we went to all kinds of stuff. He was gonna make me, he was harassing me to no end. And I laughed. I said, there's nothing you could do
Hi, sweetie.
that I ain't been through before. I said, just have
See you
fun.
today. You're a little
And
trailer.
I turned around when he gets through and I just turned around and laughed at him. And he says, I'm gonna get you yet. I said, no, you're not.
I got thinking,
Yeah, what's up?
I said, I've
she was
had
down there
enough of
talking
this
to you and
school.
told everybody, see what's going on.
Hi, Peekaboo.
So I failed the test.
Peekaboo.
And I told the colonel that was in charge of the school when he brought me in for the interview. I thought that the way they ran that school was a damn joke. I said, instead of arrest us, why don't you teach us? He dated my papers out there the day before I was released, and I never saw him. I made him so mad that he actually, I thought he was gonna choke me down. He wanted to kill me right there. Couldn't lay a hand on him.
Haven't been
You know, I
friends with
worked
him
on
yet.
construction from the time I was 14 till I was 21, and I've been through a lot with people, and I really didn't care. I figured anything they could do, I could do better.
Sounds like Grandma Malik. That stubbornness, yeah.
Grandpa Yower?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We heard tales.
Wonder where all that purple back that
I tell you what
went.
though, any officer that I
That's
worked
what, guess they,
for,
why they call it
I-
that.
they'd admit that I had given some of them a hard time, but they just wanted to leave their unit. Because when the chips are down, they could call me and whatever it was, I'd figure out a way
I
to
got a review.
get it done.
So how long were you in?
3 years.
3 years. Was that like a mandatory when you enlisted? When you,
No, I enlisted 3 years.
oh, you did?
Gotta go home.
Yeah, I was all right.
Yeah, they can
Right across the road from Walmart.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you. Oh, hi.
afford not to look at the highway. Might as well go anyway.
across the county.
Thank you.
Okay, there's some roads back, some houses back.
They live so far away, that's why they have to go.
I know,
I've had
it's
some
gonna
like
take us
those.
forever to
You
you gotta check the cows and change the
know,
blades.
gather the eggs and make sure they hatch, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's so good to see.
And we need to go to them.
I don't mean to chase everybody
I was
off.
telling
You
her,
enjoyed Steve.
It was good to see you too. Let's well fly.
Prepared to go in.
Julia.
Where's Judy?
who does she take after her? Daddy or her mama?
I think he's in there.
Does she take after her daddy or her mama?
Oh, I both of us, yeah. A lot of people who knew me when I was so little, just like me.
You accept your t-shirt another time. That's fine.
Now, one day, I ended up in Alaska. They were running spy planes out of the FA there, and we had gun positions all around the base. We had gun positions all around. One day we were supposed to go out and further out.
That's fine, we'll wait a little bit.
We had the tanks, no batteries in them. We had batteries, but no battery acid. Ordnance had no battery acid. So, our commanding officer called me in one day. He says, I have a direct order from the commanding general to have those tanks running in 2 hours.
2 hours.
I said, I don't see any big problem in that. I said, get me a clipboard that looks official, with papers on it. Get me a truck with all the numbers blotted out with mud. And 2 men that'll do whatever I say and keep their mouth shut. And I said, I'm gonna go change into a uniform that's got bright stripes on it. He says, what are you gonna do? He says, I don't wanna know. The Air Force had a stockpile of battery acid that would have filled this room and had a guard walking around it, but I noticed that every time I went by, there was some recruit. So we took that truck and backed it up to that pile, and I jumped out, and those 2 guys, I told them, the minute that truck stopped, you all jump out. Start brushing the numbers off the end of the boxes. And I said, no, that's not ours? Yeah, that's ours, load that one. That's not ours? That's not ours? Next one, load that. By then I had enough batteries for 2 of those 8D batteries. So, by then we choked it out. And you know that little private, he didn't have any idea who it was, and if they ever missed the acid, who got him. We did it in broad daylight, and he appreciated the fact that I got him out of that. But if I'd have failed, he wouldn't have known me.
Right.
He wouldn't have known me.
Did you go to Alaska?
Another time, he was on vacation. He came in and I was on charge of quarters.
The year we were there, it
No,
was cold,
sleeping.
we didn't have a summer.
And he
I
walked
think it's
in.
had about 2 weeks of summer. really.
And so the children that got sick, and he come back to camp on
I
his
think
wife
Milton
home.
and Teresa.
And they had been in some camp where they were fishing and stuff. And
On a cruise.
Mhm.
Oh, he-
Somebody just got back and said they wish they had stayed on land
Yeah.
longer than,
Yeah,
only
then
had 2
he says,
days on
"Lance,
land.
Dip,"
Who was it that said that? We drove.
he says, without a fuel, I need 55 gallons of fuel. And I don't have any way to haul it. I said, you know, our record truck will haul it. The next morning, I was out there with 55 gallons of fuel going out to a fishing camp about 40 miles away.
our government, it worked.
Coming back,
Yeah, Texas
it was
hours of work.
raining, the deep slope,
Yeah.
and I come up the hill, and the car skidded, and it was off the edge of a cliff, and right
Supervisor,
front
everybody
wheel was
that
hanging
works,
over.
sitting in the truck.
And this guy was standing beside his car in a suit. I pulled up middle road, stopped, looked at it. And I said, I can get you back. I got underneath there, hooked the winch to it, got it, picked it up, towed it over. And he pulled out his billfold and he says, what can I pay you, soldier? I said, man, are you kidding? I says, I already broke a bunch of regulations. I says, I'm an Army truck. I stopped and helped a civilian, and I wasn't supposed to be stopping. But I said, my dad always told me to never pass anybody up that needed help. And I says, I ain't gonna go one further and take pay. He says, you know, I'm kind of glad you feel that way because I see that truck ain't got a number that I could read on it. But, and besides that, he says, I'm a lieutenant colonel.
Oh, God.
I said, good day, sir. I'm glad you're back on the road.
So much did I tell you?
You know, I had some fun while I was in the service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, like I said, when our commanders needed something, I'd take a chance and get it for them.
That's what you call brown nosing.
Or networking.
It was
Never
called
really.
job security.
Yeah, job security,
And,
for sure.
and you were able to pull the strings of where you ended up at.
Well, you think most of the people I was with, you know, they had a bunch of raw recruits, 18, 19 years old, had never done anything. And I was, by that time, I was 22.
Oh, 22, man, you were old.
And,
Experienced.
and
Looking for time.
I told them, I said, you know, I've had a lot of experience working on construction with my dad since I was 14. Every summer I was out on a construction job and somebody was gonna give that young kid a lesson. Maybe that's why I lifted so many weights.
Wow.
I didn't get too many lessons.
You got ready to?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've told enough wild stories, now y'all know more about me, like,
It was
oh,
very interesting.
I've told you more than you should know.
Uh-oh. So we could use this information against you? How much is
Possibly.
it worth?
You're old enough, remember when Glenn Hartman was on, doing the weather?
Do what?
Glenn Hartman,
Yeah,
he was in Alaska when Alvin was there.
really?
Yeah, he was working with the CIA and flying those weather planes over Russia every day.
Yeah.
Weather planes.
Yeah.
U-2s?
Yeah, we were guarding the weather planes, and one day I went down to the main Air Force base, took one of our officers there for a meeting, and here's these weather planes. 8, 10-foot high chain link fence with barbed wire on top, barbed wire inside, armed guard with a dog, walk with a circle, another fence like that, and inside that was weather planes.
Oh.
I decided that wasn't weather planes, that was Ryan Dustin. And one day I was sitting on the back porch with Glenn Hartman when we lived in Lago Vista, and he lived there. We was drinking a beer and got to talking. And I told him about that. He said, you know, you were right, I was working for the CIA now.
Well, his son is the guy that,
Guard.
created, yeah. He's a real nice
Was it
guy.
five more? I don't know any of the children, but we knew him and his wife. His
Gordon
wife died.
Gordon
He
was a
married.
great guy. And, I mean,
Then,
Glenn, he was, his wife died while we were at Lago Vista.
Oh.
And then he moved back to San Antonio.
How long did y'all live in Lago Vista?
about 3 years.
Just 3 years? No, that right.
No, it was, we were on the side of a cliff. Oh, wow, you're scary, you're ready for Halloween.
You know, the house we were at, the driveway was 8 feet above the street. Our front porch was 8 feet above that.
Oh,
13
You didn't
steps.
want to fall out of bed, huh?
Well, let's put it this way. It was a 2-story house,
Yeah.
and they had blasted a hole in the rock to build a house.
Yeah.
We stepped out the back door of the second story, we was on the ground.
Yeah.
oh, heck.
That would be cool.
It was beautiful.
Oh,
We
I tell
had,
you what, I miss that place.
we
Yeah.
had a panoramic view of the lake.
I had back trouble when we went there, and Helen slipped, and she was on crutches for a long time. And the doctor said, if you two old people want to walk, y'all better get on level ground.
We had the sailboat regatta there, and, oh,
How long ago was that?
right for.
We left there in 85.
In 85?
No, 95. 95.
So y'all been in the burn since.
And we were on the road for
And
22
then we
years.
stayed on the
With
road
no
for
home.
nearly
Yeah.
And then we built
2
one.
years.
Oh.
Homeless.
That was fun.
That was the best time of my life, and I would give it,
You didn't have to mow yards.
nope.
We were at Gerald's, we had our trailer parked at Gerald's, and
Oh.
we could take off and go, and they'd look after it, pick up our mail.
We
Yeah.
kept the trailer down there so we
So
could
we
go
went to
down
Alaska.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Stop in and visit with the folks for 2 or 3 days, then take off. Yeah.
Wow.
But all the things gotta come to stop.
And you remember that time Grandma tried to run that woman out of her room in the rest home, and the woman hit her over the head with a chair?
What?
Uh-uh.
Oh, you know, Mom was in the rest home, and they had a woman there that was a real troublemaker, but she was a son-in-law, was a lawyer. And the rest home didn't know quite how to handle it. So, one day, this woman walked into Mom's room. Mom was laying in bed, and she told her to get up. The woman said, "You're in my room." This woman getting mixed up. "You're in my room." Mom told her, says, "You either get out of my room or I'll throw you out." The woman picked up a chair and hit Mom over the head.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
And I was in Alaska. So, Yvonne called me,
That was when we were on our trip, that was later.
huh?
That was when we were on our trip, not when you were in the military.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't when we were on a vacation trip. And I said, well, the only thing I could say is tell them that, I said I'd give them a choice. They get rid of that woman out of that rest home by 5 o'clock tomorrow. Or nobody knew what I'd do. Said, we don't know what Dad'll do when he gets back. So, 5 o'clock, that woman was gone.
No, I haven't heard that story.
Yeah,
I guess your dad was already gone?
yeah. Pop was already gone.
She wasn't in there, but Hello with mom if there's. That's what
But they were in there
they're
both
in there
together,
first,
right?
yes.
Yeah, but this was after she was in Corn City, when she left,
St. Francis.
Bernice decided that she ought to be in Corn City and got her moved.
Car City, that's where Lewis is at now?
No, the other one.
Oh, the other one.
But it was Bernice and I were joint for administrators. And when we disagreed, she said, well, we'll let Dorothy decide. Well, before I got down to see Dorothy, because I was working, Bernice had already been down there, and then she convinced Dorothy that that was the best thing. I was just wasting my time. But Dorothy, bless her heart, she did the best she could.
Yeah.
But Bernice would use her.
Yeah, her kids abused her.
But one day I'll never forget, we were sitting there visiting Bernice and Dorothy and I, and Bernice was talking about her aches and pains. I said, well, I've got arthritis too, and I had pain. Dorothy said, well, I guess I'm the lucky one, I don't hurt at all.
Oh, that was good.
There was she's dead and totally invalid, and she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the lucky one.
She didn't have any pain. Goodness.
Yeah.
I remember, she went through a bunch, so.
One time towards the end, couldn't have been too long before she died, saying something about, griping about the food, she said, well, they don't understand that food's one of the last pleasures I have, and to me, to think that she had any pleasure at all, it was just amazing to hear her say that.
Well, the last time I was with Dorothy, she was already so far gone, she couldn't swallow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She couldn't even swallow water.
yeah.
It's sad what people have to go through.
And she didn't last long after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe 2 days.
She never
And to
forgets.
get to that point, you get rid of them. That's the way I was. They've had some wonderful young people from that St. Henry. And then their people.
Okay.
Forty-eight. That's what he said. I don't know, I just.
I heard a couple of guys talking about it, we went to set the minutes there
Our
at 7 this
bathroom
morning.
might be easier to use,
Doesn't
but
they
what's
hear
over
the
there?
details of what happened, it was just they were just commenting that, it was surprising and,
They had that 21-year-old, and then they had that. That was by Whitfield. He fell out of the back of the truck and was thrown over on 87.
He's in trouble or you're in trouble?
it may not have been
Had a
anything
3-year-old
heavy.
child.
Do you want to
Remember the white, didn't
move
you?
the camera over
Poor child, where's the red child?
What's you been doing?
Another young guy,